Welcome, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a magical Monday because we are recording officially on a Monday. This episode is going to be coming out on a Monday, so I hope you guys are excited about that. We're coming to you live from our rooms, as you can tell. I'm still having to adjust to that. As always, with me, my man at the bottom of me, to the side of me, is my man, Mr. Scotty Kiefer. Scotty, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. You know what? We're doing it on a Monday because I'm going on vacation again.
Yes. Again.
Again. The sad thing is I will miss some of the World Cup, which will piss me off.
You can
But
still get updates.
I will. But I'm gonna be meeting Mickey. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's the score? What's the score of Cape Verde versus Spain?
Well, I took the spread, and so, That'd be so funny if Mickey was a gambler.
Erling Haaland to score a hat trick.
You know what? Not to get in, controversial stuff, but that wouldn't shock me if, Disney came out and it was just, partnered with Kalshi or Polymarket. I would not be shocked at all.
Which float will be first at the parade?
Oh, my God, that would be awful. So, childhood would just be dead. Just
First
destroyed.
color of fireworks.
God. Oh my! You don't think? You know what? Don't even. If I had those apps, I would 100% guarantee that's probably a thing you can actually bet on.
Will the lines for Haunted Mansion reach over an hour?
Yes, always take the over on that. Haunted Mansion is so long, and I haven't been there in over 10 years. That I can promise you. All right. Yeah, guys, look, we got good stuff to talk about. We're gonna make it a pretty quick show as best we can. Sorry about that. I'm getting messages from Zordon here. He wants me to go fight another evil doer for Angel Grove. Our Rangers always need me, I swear. My phone's going off like crazy. Sorry. Yeah, listen, folks, we got a lot to talk about because the NBA draft is this week, the 23rd. It's coming up tomorrow. That's the first round. And then we are going to obviously be talking about MLB, give Cubs and White Sox a quick update. We're going to get into some other stuff, some of your more fun questions as well, too. And I'm going to save those for the surprise as well, ladies and gentlemen. So, as always, we thank you guys so much for watching. We are obviously recording this, but if you guys want to see this video, it is right now on youtube.com/xbombsports. Go check it out. On that link, you can find it at all of our social medias, which you guys can go check out as well. That's at xbombsports on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, the questions that you guys have been asking us, any comments or anything like that you want to throw our way, it's at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We always appreciate you guys throwing us some good stuff. We always appreciate the questions, the comments, and things like that. So with that being said, without further ado, Scotty, are you ready to get into this? What's so funny?
No, because you're shouting out the email, and we got a great email today, so I'm
we
very
did.
excited for that.
We've had this email for a bit, I will say. We've had this email for a bit, but it's one of the ones that I've been very eager to do with Blow the Whistle, but we were never able to do it. So I figured, why not? Me and Scotty, I know he can probably bang this out, and sure enough, he did. And I'm super excited for this. But let's, Scotty, you ready to do this? Hit it. Yeah, there it is. All right, let's do this, folks. So, yes, tomorrow, the NBA draft is officially going to start. The 2026 NBA draft is underway, which is incredible to think that finals just ended a few weeks ago, and we're already draft is right here and now. Let's go. And we've briefly kind of mentioned about it, right? We've kind of talked a little bit about how the draft is going and stuff and how important this draft can be, right? This could be that 1996 Allen Iverson at the front, right? 2003 with LeBron James being number 1 overall. This could be that generational draft. And I actually had to look back. We've had some stinkers over the last 10 plus years. 2018 though, with Luka Doncic, Trae Young, all those guys actually look like they could be the most formidable draft we've had in a long time.
Some are actually turning out a lot better the more their career gets into it.
Yes, and obviously these last few, we will find out, guys are still feeling themselves out and still trying to find their route, right? Some guys are going to be late bloomers. Some guys have already shown that they're going to be all-stars for maybe years to come. We will see. But it is this is a draft where I have never seen so many people locked in on these guys in college, right? And even overseas. This is the most I've ever seen people be like talking about players, but especially from the college scene: AJ DeBansta, Darren Peterson, Ade Mara, Caleb Wilson, Darius Acuff. You go down the list. There is a litany of guys, especially in the lottery right now, that many people are saying, you draft that player, you're probably going to get an all-star. And I'm somebody who contends to say that even if you don't take them in the lottery, there's guys later in the draft that I think we could find as the next Nikola Jokic, we could find as the next Jalen Brunson, right? We could find as those late round guys that could just spring on us and all of a sudden become these superstars. And from where I'm standing at right now, at least on paper, right? We have to reference that. On paper, this looks like the draft that can change how the NBA maybe feels for a lot of fans that have abandoned it. But I'll ask you, Scotty, kind of from the get-go, from the forefront, looking at this draft. I know maybe basketball is not maybe your favorite per se. I'm not trying to call you out on anything like that. But I'm just saying, for what this draft is, where do you set on like the excitement meter for what this is?
For the actual talent coming in, very excited because these are guys that even just in their 1 year, or some guys even just sitting on the bench, they proved that they could be something special in the NBA. But I will say the excitement level is kind of low because it just seems like the first 3 or 4 picks are more so shoo-ins, and you're not gonna see anything kind of like change or be a little bit of a shock. A lot of the guys at the top are kind of like shoo-ins to go where they're supposed to go. I feel like there's not that like mystery of, well, the NFL draft where it was after the second overall pick, we were like, all right, we have no clue what's going to happen after this. It kind of doesn't really feel like that until maybe you get to like 5th, maybe. Depending on, the Bulls could be really the only team to really shake things up if they take Wagner, but like, or Wagler, but like that's about it. Like the first couple picks, you kind of got spaced out and almost locked into.
Okay, I mean that's totally fair. Because it seems like a lot of the mock drafts right now are locking it in. The various top 4 that have always been mentioned, right? They're the big 4, as they're being called by the media, which is in order by most mock drafts: AJ DeBansta, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, and Caleb Wilson for the top 4 picks. In that order seems to be the case. I would, though, argue that I don't think it's as locked in as we all think. Like, AJ DeBansta feels like he's the runaway number 1 pick maybe in a lot of ways. I would still make the argument, though, that there's a case now because we've heard that Trae Young, if I'm not mistaken here, Trae Young was opting out of his deal to go to free agency with the Washington Wizards, which now opens up a spot potentially for Darren Peterson to maybe be that number 1 pick for Washington, right? I mean, you look at DeBansta and go, that still seems to be that kind of player that you don't want to pass on. True, but now you may be losing that all-star caliber point guard you just traded for last year, so now you have to replace him, right? Utah has Cameron's son, right?
Yeah.
Good man, Carlos Boozer sitting there, and he's a part of that whole discussion that's being had for the draft, and you have to assume that there's an enticing figure to say Cameron has a lot of the same skills as his father. He has a lot of and honestly, he has various tendencies that kind of say he is his father. I think with a little bit better of a shot, let's say, and I think the defense is a little bit more present. But even still, I don't know if it's necessarily locked in because there's a lot of people saying, I mean, Caleb Wilson, with how much people are hyping him up. Listen, as a Bulls fan right now, I'm hoping he's there at 4. I'm praying he's there at 4. However, if he's not there at 4, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily because I think the Bulls then have other options they can play with at the same time, right? So I don't think the 4 is necessarily as locked in as we want, but it feels like everybody by now probably has the decisions they're going to make. They kind of know who they're probably going to take. So I understand what you're saying, Scotty, but I don't know if this is necessarily going to be like, well, is if we see Peterson go number 1 overall, then it's like, okay, so then DeBansta goes to Utah. He was right there at BYU, but what if Boozer goes before him? Then does he go then to Memphis? Or what if Memphis says we want Caleb Wilson, and then Bance is there for Chicago. Hey, that's cool, but like, is that what Chicago wanted?
I still think that Devansta is the number one guy, because even so, his shot creating and his actual his physicality that he has, he's listed as a small forward. But I mean, in the way the NBA is and the way that he plays, I could see them moving him to a primary ball handler type role. And you got to think they still have George, who they can bump down to shooting guard, even though he's like the same position as I would actually say there's other spots that are making the draft interesting, but they're barely in the lottery. 10 and 13 are interesting because we heard from Shams this morning that Giannis is being traded by the draft. And if that's the case, then the Bucks are if he gets traded to Miami, Bucks are going to have 10 and 13. I mean, the Celtics are going to be so far down if he goes there. They won't have until pick 27 there.
Yeah.
But depending on what happens in that trade, if it even goes down, that's going to be the interesting part of everything leading up to it.
Yeah, that is like right now. I thought that deal was going to get done maybe beforehand, like way sooner, but it feels like everybody's kind of playing chicken right now. From what I saw, this is just rumor. Sounds like Milwaukee's trying to price Miami out of everything they can get.
Well, because they know what they can get from the Celtics is probably a lot better.
Oh, 100%.
Even though the draft picks won't be better, they can get a talent better than anyone Miami can offer.
Oh, of course. You can get Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. That is the talk, is that it is if he goes to the Celtics will be trading Jaylen Brown, which I guess that works. I don't know how that – I mean – he gets his team in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to have a boatload of picks then to form around him. There's been talks of possibly, the whole Miami thing, right? Miami would have to bring in Detroit, I think, as a third team to kind of facilitate things. I also heard a fourth
team might have to be in.
Yes, and that's
they don't even have the draft capital as well.
No, they would have to get another team to help kind of regimate things out because it was, I think, the Bucks get Keller Ware and like all the draft picks from Detroit and like and Miami,
and then Hero goes to Detroit, which like that would be bang on for Detroit.
That's what you need that for Cade Cunningham. He needs a number 2, and that's easily your number 2. Even though I'm not sold on Tyler Hero being that like it factor, but
me neither.
I think,
but
finally being a number 2 and being like, look, you don't have to be the guy, I think helps him out a lot. But the Giannis thing, Milwaukee has to do this because at this point he's frustrated. He just doesn't want to say it. You need to rebuild because you have nothing left there other than aging assets. Like the team at this point needs to be rebuilt. And so it does become a fascinating point because if they acquire those extra picks from Detroit and Miami, that's 3 first-rounders in this draft where Milwaukee can go in and just load up on talent and go, one of these guys has to be a breakout star somewhere. And you can get your point guard, you can get your forward, you can get even your center. Hell, you might be even still to get your center if you can get the Keller Ware and Jovic thing to fall through. Like you can get some pieces in that trade that can just overhaul the team and say, for the next 5 years we're going to have to figure it out, but at least we have the time to figure it out. Hopefully they hired the right coach as well. It's not Doc Rivers, thank God, but that's always a plus side now more than ever. But let's talk about this because they're the hometown team. Let's discuss it. Bulls have 4th and they have the 15th. There's a lot of talk that they're trying to move up from 15 to see if they can maybe get back into the top 10 because they're falling in love with Wagler. They've really started to fall in love with a Cuff. Obviously, there's a lot of talk that the Clippers and the Kings are really kind of jumping between those two. Whoever takes one will take the other kind of thing. It is a very amazing situation for the Bulls, and yet it's also kind of left me in a state of like get this right.
Honestly, I think they're fine if they just stay where they are.
Same.
I think they can pick up Yaxel and be fine.
Okay, that's not a bad move.
I think Yaxel's going to end up falling, and then to be honest, if they were going to trade up, I just don't know who they would maybe be so in love with that they would be able to trade up to and not give up too much. Because where a Chuff's going, where Brown's going, they're gonna have to give up a lot from going up to 15. So you're kind of looking at getting like 8 down, maybe.
Yeah.
But who are you really gonna pull from there? I mean, there's Mara if you wanted to bring in a center. Fleming would probably still be around if you wanted a guard, but you don't really need
Brown.
one. Like,
Yeah.
it's just there's not a huge need to trade up, I don't think, this year.
No, and that's the talk is about, how much does Graham and now bringing in Splitter, how much do these guys love Josh Giddey? Because all the talk's around Josh Giddey. Everyone's calling the Bulls about Josh Giddey. And look, you hate to lose him, but I would make this argument too. Like, as big and as physical a point guard as he's been for the team, is this a matter of he is that kind of player, or is he just the best player on a really subpar team for the Bulls? Like, the problem I have with him necessarily is that his defense has never been up to par, right? It's always been kind of on the below average side. His athleticism is there, but it's not the most fluid. It's a little bit rough at times because he is so big as a guard who's playing the point. So if you are saying that, okay, we are going to move on from him, and there's been the talk that the Kings are interested in Giddey, there's talk that Brooklyn wants to bring him into, if there's a chance to trade for one of those top picks, and you're saying, we want Wagler to be the shooting guard, or we're going to pair Darius Akuff with Caleb Wilson and then have them be the dynamic duo for the next 2 years and back-to-back picks maybe, however it is, I'm okay with that, but you better be certain then that that is the right move that you want to make. Honestly, like you said, if they stay at 15, I'm okay with that too. Because like you said, Yaxel Lindenberg's there. I love Cameron Carr from Baylor because he's a 3-and-D threat that you had with Lonzo Ball. But he's a way more efficient scorer, shooting 50% from the field, over 35% from 3, 80% from the free throw. Everything about him, he's always been in the plus in terms of plus minus. Like, he has been a top to bottom, a clear-cut player that the Bulls need at that 2 position to shoot threes, 1, and then 2, defend the perimeter, where Giddey has obviously struggled. So I think, like you said, stay at 15. Like, and that's the thing. The world is your oyster at that point. Because LeBaron Filan might be there from Alabama. Michael Brown Jr. might fall. I don't think he will. But he may fall. You never know, from Louisville, who is a fantastic scoring option. But but those 2 guys are point guards, and that's the problem, right?
I think they could also, like, I don't want to say that they could also trade down given the best offer, but, like, there's also a lot of guys that are just so far down too.
Yeah.
Like, he might even fall to the second round. I wouldn't even mind trading up late into the second, like early into the second round, because I think Koa Pete might be there, and he might be a nice little spark to get.
That's true. He's very he is an oddity in my book because
he probably should have been higher. To be honest, he probably should have been higher, but he just didn't have that great of a year.
No, he was very inconsistent. The athleticism, the raw talent, the quote-unquote potential is there, right?
Yeah.
I hate that word, the potential. Anytime I hear potential, it always drives me nuts. I'm not saying Koa Pete's a bad player. He's shown signs of being an NBA player. But like you said, I think he's a guy that definitely deserves to be higher, will fall in the draft. I feel like he'll go between the 25 and 30 range, though.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Probably a team, I'm not saying the Knicks, but whoever's sitting there in those ranges, right, in those 25 to 30, I don't have the list popping up for me because my internet decided to just kind of crap out on me
I
real
started
fast.
to look up some guys that, might be going early in day 2 that I think they can also grab up. I would love if they could pick up like a Braden Smith to be a backup point guard, Jacoby Gillespie from Tennessee. That would be fun to like see these type of guys that get picked up for the Bulls, like, because those are guys that could just help out that team, and help complete that whole team.
I mean, and the other thing that I've heard from people too is you got to remember for the Bulls, there's a lot of talk still going around about Trey Jones, and he's a guy I think you package him just right. He could give you he can give you a first-round pick as well. So the Bulls have plenty of options in front of them. This is one of those drafts that we've dreamed about as Bulls fans, to finally be like, okay, they are making the move to being a better team, and we can see what the results can possibly look like. It's now just a matter of executing, and then from there, making sure these guys get in tune, right? I mean, we're also getting back Noah Asengwe. Watching him be able to come back for the Bulls as well too is going to be interesting. And he's grown to almost 7 feet. They won't say he's 7 feet. He's almost 7 feet. So there's a real shot here to say they're going to get 3 first-round picks basically on their roster for the year. Could still get in play for Walker Kessler. Could still be in play for Jalen Duran. Like, there's so many options for the Bulls to be able to work with here that, depending on how they go through this draft, will shape out their free agent market. And from there, we'll see how the team is able to placate to themselves, and then ultimately what we see on the court. I at least, if anything, look, the team's not going to be great, but overall, I think there will be some success had, at least on individual level, that will ultimately result in, I think, the team having success late in the season. And from there, by year 2, by year 3, we're seeing this team become more contenders. And hopefully by year 5, if it gets to that point, we're watching them become a playoff team. Maybe sooner. Yeah. You've got the piece in Buzelis. You've got the piece.
Build around him. And this is a great draft to do that with.
Absolutely. You've got 4 draft picks. Four draft picks. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. And there's so much late round talent you can grab that will be there. So much. And you can work with that. Put them in the G League, fine. But there's guys that put them in the G League, work them a bit, and then bring them on the bench. Because this is that draft. And then next year's, by the way, another great crop of guys are going to be coming out. And holy cow, are those dudes talented. You need a forward, they got you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the forward. Next year's the forward draft. So thankfully the Bulls this year, they can put the emphasis on, hey, we need a guard. Okay. Totally on. Just Caleb Wilson.
I think one other question I kind of have, and we're getting into it, is with the new head coach position for the Mavericks being taken by Dusty May. What does the 9th pick look like for the Mavs? And I mean, what does that? He's just gonna take a Michigan guy just at 9 just because?
Lendenberg,
Mara, like he can take any of the Michigan. He's gonna just pick a Michigan guy at 9 just because he hasn't done scouting.
Honestly, Mara would not. I would not be shocked if they took Mara, because they do need a big man in the middle.
Yeah,
and he fits their need. So it wouldn't shock me if he was like, I know this kid. I know his tendencies. I know how to play him. Like, let's take him. And that's a pretty good compliment, too, to Cooper Flagg. That gives you the down-low defender, rebounder, a guy who, by the way, too, at that position can also pass out, right? Grab the rebound and then pass out to Cooper Flagg to start the fast break. So everyone has them taking Braden Berries from Arizona up to this point. I also forgot they didn't have a head coach to this point.
I did too. I did too as well. About that. Bro, what do you hold on? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
I knew they hired a new GM.
The draft is Tuesday, right?
Yes.
So what are those meetings like? When you hire the head coach on Monday, your draft is on Tuesday.
I guess you're being like, this is who we're taking. Do you agree with it? And he's like, no. Or is he just like, that's fine? Like, I don't know, because what involvement have you had? You've had no involvement with the team.
This is what I mean. He's just going to pick a Michigan guy. He's just going to pick a Michigan guy. Yeah, he's walking in there. He's like, all right, so here's all the scouting that we've done. Now pick the guy. Who would you like?
I'm just going
to pick the Michigan guy.
Yeah. Just going to pick one of my boys.
I mean, to be honest, like, we haven't seen a lot of great college coaches come over to the NBA and do fantastic. It's just not an MO, really. I mean, there's the oddities. Donovan, great coach in college basketball, Gator legend. In the NBA, decent head coach, definitely a playoff head coach. I just don't know if he's going to be the right fit for the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with a team like the Mavericks, where, like, I mean, Yaxel
function be thy name.
Yes, honestly, and like honestly, looking at the way Michigan has had, they don't really have players that kind of can translate to what the Mavericks have right now.
Right.
So I don't think that that's even a good little tell.
It's
It's very confusing, that move.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the number one move they probably could have made because he's like the biggest name out on the market, probably. But like,
oh sure,
I just
interesting
don't,
that this
get
happened.
it with the. Yes, it's interesting that it happened, and also when it happened.
Yes, and like you said, the fit, right? For Cooper Flagg, I think cool. He'll be very creative, I think, for Cooper Flagg, considering what we saw from him at Michigan. But my concern then becomes, and it's not even just with the personality, it's Kyrie as far as a fit for the Mavericks. Like, when he gets back from injury, how's that dynamic going to work? Because you've said it, we're centering the team around Cooper Flagg. Okay, well, Kyrie comes back into the roster. I would think you don't want to lose that unless you try and trade him, which I know teams are saying they're expressing interest in trading for him because we know Kyrie is still an effective player. When he's healthy, he's still one of the best guards in terms of handles, create your own shot kind of players out there. But like you said, how does that fit? The timing of this, the effectiveness of it for you to be able to say, like, these are the players that I've been, like, has he been doing his own scouting? Has this been something that's been in the works for a while? Did it just get confirmed? All of this is intriguing.
Yeah, and honestly, a couple weeks ago, it didn't even seem like he had NBA interest.
No, this was
he had interest to go to the NBA. Not that people weren't interested in him. It didn't seem like he had interest.
No, because he's recruiting for Michigan. He's getting Brandon McCoy. He's locking in these other guys to get ready for the future, right? For 2027 and 2028. And now I wonder what happens with this Michigan team.
Oh, did you see the odds this morning?
Oh, yeah.
They went from 750 to plus like 1,200 in an hour.
And it changes the landscape now, too, for college basketball. Again, not just for the recruiting aspect, but like you just said there, the odds just dropped down. All those players that came back, now is Kadu and all these guys going to say, I'm hitting the portal. If he's not here, I'm not going to – I mean, I think they're hiring Boylan Jr., I think is who they're hiring. Mike Boylan Jr., I think, is the guy that they're finalizing the deal with for Michigan, which, okay, that's not a bad hire. It's just it's Dusty May just won a national title.
Yeah.
Like, he is the Kurt Signetti of college basketball, which is going to be a telling point, too, because is this whole new phenomenon of the, I guess, Kurt Signetti coaching effect, if you will, just to kind of give some credit to Kurt's. I know I don't know what the right term to use it. The Signetti coaching effect or something like that. Can this work, right? Where you go from small program to big program, have major success, and then translate that to the pro league. Can you do that? Because everyone was talking about Signetti going to the Steelers. Well, Dusty May is going to, I guess, be the testing point, at least for basketball. Can you do that? Can you have small success, Final Four, FAU, go to Michigan, win the national title, and now go to the Mavericks and find success there? Because, again, this franchise, ownership is fighting with each other. GM gets fired in Nico Harrison. They hire a guy who a lot of people are going like, yeah, I don't know if he's going to be the answer. And now you hire this guy a day before the draft. Something says to me, like you just said, I'm just going to take a Michigan guy. Something tells me then that they might be like in love with Mara or Lendenberg, or something's in play where they're going to be trading down or something to go get one of the Michigan guys. Like you don't take that guy this late if you don't feel like there's a player there that you really want that works with him. I feel like, I don't know. I maybe they see something that I don't, but I think we can both say we're questioning this one for sure. Correct?
Yeah. This is a weird timing. Just such weird timing.
Adds value to the draft. Let us know what you guys think. We're moving on, though, to Major League Baseball, folks, because, folks, if this is the last season for baseball, this is what a season. Holy cow.
Last season for a minute, not forever.
Yeah.
We're not saying like this is not like Andrew's favorite show, Love Island, where it's just going to be over.
No.
Like this is we're talking like if they just go on a little bit of a hiatus.
Also, Love Island, my goodness. You guys are pick it up like a little bit. Come on. Like, all right, I'm not going to get into it. It's for another show.
I will say, though, I think the last time we talked about it, the weird thing is we're kind of in the same boat as we were the last time we talked about this.
Yeah. Yeah, look, let's go for the Chicago teams real quick here because White Sox right now still managing to stay a game just out of first place right now on the Cleveland Guardians.
They were first place for a while there.
Yes.
They went 6-5 against the Phillies, Dodgers,
Yep.
Braves, and Yankees.
And good showings, too.
And good showings as well. And against the
Without
Braves.
Murakami.
And all of it without Murakami. The Braves, they only played 2 games, so technically it was a sweep. Won the series versus the Dodgers. Like, they're just playing fun baseball.
Yes.
And
100%.
honestly, haven't seen it in a couple years. You'll love it. They got Kyle Teal back this morning. That'll be interesting to see where he's going to not fit in, but he's been playing so good in the minors. I'm keeping tabs on him and like when he's going to be coming back. But that solves a massive problem. I texted one of my buddies the other day about it, and I said, come the trade deadline, the White Sox are probably going to be buyers. What's the biggest position of need? And I listed catcher down, and he goes, and I go, we were like, no, Teal's just going to come back and he'll probably fill in. Because he's honestly just been the missing piece behind home plate, because Romo's a shoddy hitter but a great catcher. Same thing with Caro. He's a terrible hitter but a great catcher.
Their framing and their work behind the plate has been fantastic, and their arms are so strong that they can fire it from back home plate at any time. Teal just is the total package. That's the thing, though.
He can give you the best of all of it. Like, he can give you above average in everything that a catcher needs to bring.
Yes, absolutely. And the great thing is, too, is that if there are days where you need to kind of formulate, okay, well, we're going to work Caro in there because he works best with Martin or whatever the case may be. All right, then we'll put Teal in the DH. Like, we'll shift things around. Like, and that's the beautiful thing about this team for the White Sox. They have put together a very young core that guys can kind of shift out, right? Braden Montgomery goes from playing a shortstop primarily in college and throughout high school, comes to the pros, says, I'm going to learn shortstop, but I'm also going to learn every outfield position I need to. And they're just like, all right, well, he's a great outfielder because of his speed and his glove, and he's got a great bat, so let's put him in the outfield. And he's been, I think, fantastic for that group.
For coming up as a rookie, yeah, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where, like, when, again, not jumping too far ahead, but the MLB draft is coming up, and there's a lot of talk on what the White Sox will do, right? Because of all the shortstops they have, there's all this talk on, well, is Cholowski the guy that they're going to take number 1 overall?
If he's not, that's a problem. If he's not, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That kid is a generational talent.
I was going to say, you don't find guys like this in college baseball very often. When you do, you take them. Vaughn Lackey's good. Don't get it twisted. Georgia Tech's catcher, Vaughn Lackey, is one of the best catchers I've ever seen in college baseball in a long time.
But they also don't need catcher either. They have like 4 catchers.
That's the thing. You have so much depth there. They're young guys. You can play with them. If you are going to say, okay, but we don't need, because Cholowski's a guy that can start probably in 2-3 years.
I think less.
He's that well developed. Maybe, yeah.
Less.
He could be an 18. He could be that guy that comes up sooner.
I think he could be up in the middle of next season.
But that's the thing. Like, if that's the case and you feel like we don't need that guy, we have to wait, I'm okay with them saying we're taking Grady Emerson, because I think he's just as good at talent. It's a high school kid, granted.
No.
And those guys are 50-50.
I think
this is a kid.
I think Rock is a mile ahead of literally anyone else.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
I just think I do think the problem with their depth could be moved around. Like, you might have to he might have to move over to third base. Then that makes Then that makes you could throw Vargas back at first and Murakami be a full DH. That might be a play. Yep. Or Vargas DHs. Or honestly, Vargas' contract is up. You could trade him at high value.
You could.
And it just does give you that possibility of being able to do that.
Especially too when you still have what's his name, Bomer, right?
Yeah.
Their top prospect is still sitting out there. He's been named as a trade target. Billy Carlson is also out there as a top prospect. He's also been named a trade target, as the White Sox are looking potentially to be sellers. And me and Nick were talking about this on Blow the Whistle last week. Of all the names they could go for, honestly, there's a package they can put together, I think, to get guys like Alcantara. And I think they can also get Josh Bender. I believe it's Josh Bender from Miami, both of them, in a package deal that would just cost them prospects. Like, it would cost them Billy Carlson and a few of their other, like, some of their other key prospects, sure. But it would give you back a potential ace in your rotation, and it would give you that closer that they have been searching for, I think, that would allow Dominguez then to be your setup guy. And I think that would make your rotation and your bullpen deadly.
Yeah.
Like now you're a team that can really start to run into the top of the AL Central and the AL itself, I think, with those moves. Right? And that's just those two moves. There's all this talk now as well that they are starting to really make phone calls to the Angels to see if Detmers, how available is he and for what price.
That, by the way, reports are the price is higher than what would Scooble be. Somehow.
Of course.
So
I don't.
that's just Artie Moreno being great.
He's good, but Artie Moreno, he will overprice on everybody in that ballpark, especially Mike Trout. Of course, he will. He wants the farm system for Mike Trout, which you're not going to get that. But I understand where he's coming from. But this White Sox team, I mean, from where I'm standing point, like you said, they're buyers. But where do you see them? Do you see any? I just said Alcantara, Detmers, Bender. Is there anybody that you've been viewing that you think the White Sox should go after with the deadline coming through in August?
No, I mean it's just got to be, and they do have to go after a pure starter. That's the only thing that they need to go. The problem is they have to pay to get a ace pitcher because you can't just bring in another pitcher. You have to bring in a guy that you are going to be throwing out game one of a postseason. You need a guy that you're going to throw out if you get to a game 163. That's the type of guy that you need to get. You don't need to bring in another guy who's just been like the second or third guy in a rotation. No, you need to go steal another team's number one, and it's going to be pricey. That's the problem. Is I feel like the Sox are in a position where it's tough to maybe give up on some of these guys so early because we didn't expect the White Sox to be at this point in the rebuild, and giving up on some of this talent could just be a little too early.
No, 100%. And I credit to Venable, credit to Katz for what they've done as GM and manager. They've let these guys play baseball. They've really done a great job developing these young players, and it has, like you said, it has accelerated the timetable, I think, for how competitive they can be times two, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this. But as far as selling, the price, like, do they need Tarek Skubal? No. Would it be great if they could get him? Sure. But that's not a real possibility. But if you can get an Alcantara, if you can get a Detmers or a Bender, or you can get possibly a litany of different players depending on the price tags to load up this roster, particularly guys who are young in their prime under contract, you don't have to worry about paying right now. It builds for, and that's the thing, build for your future. That's the biggest thing they've got going for them. Because you've still got Noah Schultz, who's going to be developing. You've got Hagen Smith, who will likely come up probably sometime, and I'm assuming August, start getting some time on the mound.
And if he doesn't, then he'll be up by next year. He'll probably just be a part of the September
call-ups. He'll make spring training.
He'll be a part of the September call-ups, I think.
Yeah.
Like the extra players in September, I think he'll just be a part of that, and then he'll be ready for next season. That's just what I think they're going to plan on doing with him. Which isn't a bad thing. Isn't a bad thing.
No, he's been doing well enough that you can give him some time in major league mounds. Whether he gets smashed on the plate or not is completely irrelevant. It's all about him just being able to get that experience to be able to pitch out against major league bats. Because he's got good enough stuff, I think, to be able to challenge them. The speed's on the fastball, the breaking stuff's there. All of that is great. But White Sox are looking good. On the opposite side, though.
Yo, hold on. Let me say this. All right? Listen, I am a Sox fan. Don't get me wrong. I am a White Sox fan, but damn, this Cub fans just annoy me because I swear to God, they go on this tangent of all this losing in a row, and the second PCA starts to get hot, this team is good to go. They're fine.
And he's been hot.
He's been hot. Don't get me wrong. PCA has been playing lights out over the past 20 games or so.
Yeah.
But I had a Cub fan come up to, we were talking, and he goes, "Man, the Cubs are playing so bad right now. I'm ready to just start over."
Oh, jeez.
And then I kid you not, 5 days later, comes back to me and he goes, "They'll be fine."
Yeah, of course. That's just as a Chicago fan, I feel like.
No,
That's just
that's
for-
just a Cubs fan.
Yeah, that might be more descriptive of them. I just feel like there's so many times I've been in Chicago as a fan where it's just like, man, this team sucks. I just can't wait for next year. And then all of a sudden they go on like a 5-game win streak, and it's like, hey, you know what? I think they're gonna be okay. Maybe make the playoffs. You never know. Things can happen. It's just like, bro, pick a lane. Like, chill. Yeah, look, Cubs back in form, above 500. PCA has looked fantastic over his last 7 games. He's been playing more like his all-star self. The problem really sits with them, though, that injuries are plaguing their rotation. Their bullpen is still very mid-range, and
minor
their lineup
league
outside
pitchers.
of yeah, right. And their lineup outside of PCA right now, it's been having some bounce back, but there are guys like, as everybody's talked about Dansby Swanson and this whole like, well, should they trade him or should they sit him and all that. The problem is you lose the defensive ability that he gives you out there, one. But on the other side, yeah, you're not getting the offensive output that you need from him in proper standing. Like, you need he should be a guy that's getting on base, stealing bases, moving around the plate, being a guy that can set up for others. And he's not doing his job. I don't know what it is. Like, he's not seeming like he's patient at the plate. Alex Bregman has been so hit or miss as of late.
Well,
He's not the same player he's been.
I mean, no, he hasn't been anywhere close because he's not even hitting any home runs, really.
No.
I mean, it's just they're so hot and cold. And I said this to my buddy, the same guy that said let's just blow up. I go, it seems like whenever anything's going wrong for the Cubs right now, it's almost like everything is like there's not one thing you can really point it to.
Yeah.
It seems like there's fault in almost everything. And it does also fall on Craig Counsell. I actually was looking up something the other day. Craig Counsell might be getting a little too much heat for this team because statistically he's actually one of the better managers in baseball.
Yeah.
But you look at some of his moves in the bullpen, he just puts in the wrong guy like all the time.
Every moment he makes a decision on that. And you think like, okay, they're gonna figure this out. Like he's gonna get in there, and then all of a sudden it's just like home run, on base, home. And I'm like, does he not understand like how this works? Like like you said, he seems to put in the wrong arm at the wrong time, and it gives up every opportunity for the Cubs to be able to get a win. No, and Craig Counsell, like you said, I saw the statistics like by a manager. He is not the worst. It just looks bad when Milwaukee is certainly in most people's account, Milwaukee is of course the better. Much better. Like 7 games better.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help when St. Louis is above you as well, who was supposed to be worse. But Jordan Walker's tearing the cover off the ball every time he gets up to the plate. He is hammering the hell out of it. No longer a bust, now is looking like an all-star through and through. And then you add on top of that as well, it's not him that's making these decisions to sign these guys and keep these players. It's Jed Hoyer. And unfortunately, though, Craig Counsell will be tied to Jed Hoyer. And so, like me and Nick, again, last week we were saying it, there's a good possibility these two guys might be 88 and out the gate right now. Like, they might be 1 foot in the managerial and GM grave where they could be fired by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because if this team, I'll say this, if this team is maybe not above 500 by the All-Star break, there's a good shot these guys could be removed from their positions.
Yeah.
Especially if they're below 500 by the All-Star break. If that happens, there's a very good chance, I think, that one of them is getting canned. Which is just going to look terrible for the Cubs because you just paid Craig Counsell all that money on that 5-year contract that he's still having to work out. And you promised that Jed Hoyer was going to be like a second coming of Theo Epstein. But none of that has proven to be right. I mean, credit goes to Jed Hoyer for being his side man for all the work they did in Boston and with the Cubs in 2016. But he has not proven to be a GM at the major league level in that specific role.
Yeah.
Assistant GM, cool, fine. The regular GM, the main man in charge, homie, you're right there with the man in Boston right now that is running that team. The Craig Breslow, who is running that team into the ground. Oh my God, he's run that team into the ground. And then I just say this for the guy Damien because I had that on the list, but we can't talk that because of timing, obviously. Our guy Damien from Boston, who was excited that you were in Boston, but I wasn't able to give him the bar that you were at, so I'm sorry, Damien. But he was like, when can they fire Craig Breslow in Boston? We'll
Soon.
talk.
Soon.
We will talk about that very soon. Get more in depth on that because if anybody's to blame, it ain't Alex Cora, it ain't any of the players. It's Breslow.
Yeah.
Mr. I helped the team win a World Series in 2018 as a pitcher. Okay, well, you've completely destroyed a franchise
In the time being.
in less than a year. You took them from a playoff team competing with the Yankees almost to bottom of the league, basically. How dare you? But we'll get more in depth on that on a later date. Real quick before we get out of this Major League Baseball stuff, I'll ask you, Scotty, is there any surprises that you have, like a team that you didn't see coming or a team that's kind of catching fire, anything like that in baseball right now?
What I
your
will say
eye?
is surprising is I was looking up the stats of like a bunch of managers and all of the best decisions. I was surprised at who I saw at the top of the list. So the stat I was looking at was the best managers based on in-game decisions.
Okay.
Number 1 and number 2 were Aaron Boone. Which just, like, you hear all the complaints, and you see how bad the Yankees kind of are compared to, like, how people talk about the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is he the best manager? And then the other one was, Clayton McCullough of the Miami Marlins. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they're like, what, a few games? Yeah, they're a few games above 500. Okay.
But the two best managers in baseball? Nah, I don't know about that.
How is it possible? What are they not? Are they saying Atlanta's managers just like, all right, I don't have to do anything?
Yeah,
I guess it's inherently possible.
I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
But like,
Just the best
are
team
the
in
Yankees
baseball.
Are the Yankees on top of the AL East? Yes. Are they the best team in the American League? Yes. But is Aaron Boone a great manager? No, he's not.
Ooh,
and then the Marlins are third place in their division.
I don't understand that at all. I don't get that one. I have to go look back at like the moves he's made then, because even by the account of going like, all right, maybe the record doesn't speak volumes for it. Maybe he's making the right moves to save them games potentially, right? Bring in the right reliever, bring in the closer at the right time, bring in this pinch hitter. I don't know. I've not watched a lot of Miami Marlins games, to be quite honest.
No.
Considering it's a cesspool over there, but still,
I would also say I'm surprised how Toronto's kind of just fallen out of it.
That's because I joined the fandom.
Yeah,
that just seems to be the problem. I joined. Yeah, I know. That's why maybe I shouldn't join the Spurs if the Bulls do sink it, because it'll just sink the Spurs. I don't know. It just apparently I'm the problem, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the Blue Jays are necessarily down and out. I won't count them out yet because I still think they're a very good team, but they're going to have to make some moves. I know they already have, but they have to make. You got to make a play, I think, for a starting pitcher. I think you have to make a play for another big hitter to be able to add to that group, because Vlad Guerrero Jr. just gone quiet. And you need somebody to be able to help wake him up, I think, give him some cover, because if he's struggling, then you need somebody out there that I think can start hitting the bombs with George Springer and the rest of the group that's trying to put it out there, right? Because there's all this talk that they were probably going to try and make a play to get Bo Bichette back at the deadline, which would be funny if they did. But he's starting to hit again, and I don't know if the Mets are going to be willing to give him up. That's the only thing. I'll say this. I didn't think the West was going to be so close, but I'm really happy it is. It makes for such fun stuff to watch. Because they're not all playing great baseball, but it's still averaging out to be good games between them all.
Yeah,
because it's a fight for survival. Like I will say this. I think the Athletics might pull this off.
Yeah,
I think they might.
It might be sad that the Mariners don't either as well.
I'm really coming down on Julio Rodriguez, which sucks because I love him as a player.
One of the most overrated players in baseball.
I know, but he's a good. When he's on, he's on.
Before we get off the MLB topic, Trevor Bauer is now being moved to Mexico, by the way. Now, did he? Now, listen. His audio's cutting out. He's laughing so hard. He did go like 5-1 for Long Island in indie ball, but man,
dude, just come to the dogs.
Dude, just go to the dogs.
Just come to the dog, dude. I was talking about that with Nick last week, and I was with Timmy because I finally got to see Timmy again while we were up there, and I was like, dude, what if Brower just left the Ducks and went to the dogs? And Nick was just like hands over her face and just like, oh my god. And I'm like, you can boo him all you want, but you know he'd be like, that team would probably make the playoffs then. And he's like, yeah, probably, but I would not be happy with it. Like, he was just like, give up on the dream, dude. Forget it. It's over.
Just crazy.
I can't believe he's going back to Mexico. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Is Trevor Bauer kind of another Ben Simmons type?
You know what?
Just side quest.
I think he's Nick's Ben Simmons. I think he's Nick's version of Ben Simmons. Because with me and Trevor Bauer, like, I've always respected him as a pitcher. I just think he's just like a really crappy person. He's just not it's not even about like the whole.
He's an acquired taste. Like I like him. Yeah. I like him because I like. It's the same reason why Bryce Harper is my favorite. He's a troll out there. Yeah. I love it. He's cocky.
He's absolutely.
I love it. But like, dude,
as a
just
pitcher, I love it. But like as a person, like I feel like he's the kind of guy like you would be like, can I get an autograph? And he'd be like, get out of my face. Like right. And I don't think he's really like that. He gives off that persona of just like, I don't want to talk to any of you normies. Like, can't fire a fastball as fast as I can. I don't want to talk. Like, I get that impression of him. You're not as good as me. I'm not talking to you. So, I don't know. But baseball, folks, loving it. Absolutely loving it. Great stuff. But speaking of baseball, too, folks, we had a fun question I wanted to kind of throw out there just for the chip of things, just real quick. Because the other segment's more than likely going to take a little longer, I'm sure. But basically, we got a question. This came from our guy, Brandon. Brandon is from Iowa, from Des Moines, Iowa, if you can believe it. People live out there. I love Des Moines. Don't get it twisted. Excuse me, Des Moines. But he did ask, he's like, so I know you guys probably are gamers. He's just assuming. He put in quotation mark or parentheses, just assuming. But he's said, what games do you guys technically play to kind of like chill out on a regular basis? What are the games that you guys usually play to kind of just blow off some steam or with friends or anything like that? What are your typicals? So, Scotty, you want to start it off?
I've been playing FIFA recently. I got FIFA for really cheap. I tried playing the World Cup.
Is it free?
No, it was just like $20. So like the 60.
Okay. I got it for free.
Oh well, I'm on PC.
I don't know how
I'm
I
on
got
PC,
20.
So
I don't know how I got 26 for free. It was for PlayStation, so.
But
fun.
I tried playing the World Cup mode. Not a fan. It doesn't feel like they lost the rights to the World Cup, so it just isn't the World Cup.
I was gonna say, from what I remember, they don't have the rights to it, so now it's just like the World Class or what, something like that.
The World's Game or something like that.
World's Game, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just stupid.
But no, College Football 27 is coming out soon, so it'll switch to that whenever that comes out.
Man, I did not like the last one.
I loved it.
I
loved it, and they're still updating stuff with it. So I'm gonna keep playing it as long as they actually come out with stuff that they are going to update. Because that's my rule: is I don't buy a new game if they aren't actually updating anything. That's why I haven't bought Madden in a while. So.
I haven't bought Madden since Madden 12.
But I'm thinking about buying Madden this year because I actually did fix some stuff. But I'm gonna buy college football again because they're still adding stuff to it.
Which is I'm all for. I guess this is just where I become an old man. Like I'm all for like the old Maddens. Like I still play Madden 06, 09, or not Matt. Well, yeah, I do play those every once in a while. But like NCAA football 09, 06, 03 even. I'll play those old school kind of games. I even play March Madness 08 on my PS2. So, I mean, I'm old school like that, folks. I'm old school like that. As far as like more newer games, I typically play like MLB The Show. I play FIFA. I don't play any of the new Maddens or college football. But I do play things. I'm a big Division II kind of person. I played a Division II quite a bit just because got to blow off some steam somehow. No Man's Sky, if you know that game, it's where you kind of explore space and travel. I'm just big into like those big world things as well. My favorite is Uncharted. That will be my favorite game series of all time.
I think a
Nathan
lot of
Drake is the
people. I
GOAT.
think a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, absolutely. Nathan Drake is the GOAT character as far as I'm concerned. My favorite video game of all time is going to be Last of Us. That I think is the greatest game I've ever played. Storyline, creative wise, gameplay wise, I think it's fantastic. And as far as like a newer game I want to play, I really want to try Crimson Desert, but I've heard a lot of such mixed things about it. Because I love the open worldness, and it's like there's so much to do, and I love those RPG medieval games because I'm a Skyrim guy. I grew up with that. But I've also heard the story sucks. So I'm kind of like, oh god, that kind of game should not have a crappy story. So that's just me though. That's the kind of stuff I'm into. So
Play Mario Kart just all the time.
yeah,
Play Mario Kart
that's
all the time too.
that's like my drunk game is Mario Party. Me and my buddies will get together and we'll either do Rocket League or we'll do Mario Party. That's like our two. Like, let's get a bottle. Let's have some shots. Anytime you lose a game, you can take a drink. And usually after the first game, we're hammered.
But
And we're yelling and screaming at each other.
I don't know about you though, Andrew. In sports games, I'm someone that like will play out a long time. So like my FIFA career mode right now, I'm in 2035.
I love it.
I
love it.
had an NHL franchise. This is actually the third one that I've done. I'm actually in year 20.
Okay.
I've done some where I've gotten to the 25
that
year
didn't
mark.
process right away. I'm like, I heard 20, but it didn't process right away.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Wow. I remember like during COVID, I went to year 25 and it was great. I did two of them because I was like in school because I was in school, and so I was like just playing to the side while the teacher's talking. I got to 25 years in the future.
Scotty studied so hard, folks.
Yep.
You can tell. It's fantastic. Scotty, you have any opinions? Uh-huh. God damn it. I totally see it happening. Oh my god, that's fantastic. Oh my god. I mean, I've done that too. I've got Gretzky 06 is my hockey game that I like to play. I don't play any of the NHLs, but it's old school PS2 Gretzky 06 game. It's very simple hockey franchise mode. I think I'm on like year 15 on that right now. And I've also got one, believe it or not, folks, EA Sports actually did a rugby game. Yes. If you don't know that. I have all of them.
Yo, shout out the Chicago Hounds. Yeah. Won the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, yesterday. Yeah. Shout out Chicago Hounds for winning the championship for U.S. Rugby. That's awesome. So cool that we finally have a champion in this city. But yeah, that's the other one where that's another game where you can just pop that on and I'll just melt away. Just playing as the All Blacks just to be able to like score like 500 points on somebody, just dropping them on them. Like, I mean, seriously, like nobody it's 08 I've got like that All Blacks team is legendary.
Yeah.
You ain't challenging that group. If you don't like rugby, I challenge you to go play that game. It's an amazing game. It's everything that you get with Madden. It's just so fun. Mm-hmm. So much fun. I can't say it enough. All right. While we got the time, we had a question from one of our guys. Our guy Ryan came in from Detroit, Michigan, and challenged us long ago on this show and all of our shows to come up with a roster of players that are just below making the Hall of Fame into the average that are our favorite players. An entire NFL roster of our favorite players. And he omitted some stuff and he added some stuff and we took some stuff out depending on how we wanted to formulate it. I tried to do this on Blow the Whistle once before. We weren't able to just because of timing and stuff. So I thought, you know what? Scotty could 100% do this.
Now, I will say this. When Andrew told me this, he did not say your favorite average players. So yeah, I did pull some of my guys, like, because playing Madden, picking up these guys and playing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pulled up some of those guys, but, like, I wasn't pulling, like, my favorite players as, like, a kid. I pulled purely average players. He did. I think I have one player that might go to the Hall of Fame. Like, we're telling... And he probably won't either.
I'm very interested to see what your list is. You want me to go first or you want to go first, Scotty?
You can.
Okay, I'll go first. So this is my list. So first for my offense, I'll go through this, relatively quick. I've got Tony Romo. I believe it or not, I've never been a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I've always thought that Tony Romo was like a legit quarterback. I think he is borderline Hall of Fame, possibly.
Yeah, see, when I hear average, that's too
yeah.
good for average. That's where I was.
I know.
That's where I was with this list.
It's just like in the grand scheme of everything, I think he will fall into that average scale of quarterbacks, I think. Like when you measure him up against all the quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, I think, yeah, he's in the top. He's in the top, but I think he's still considered like an average guy. So I had Tony Romo. My next ones are my running backs. So my running backs, I had Maurice Jones-Drew. He was always a favorite of mine in Jacksonville. Undersized and always was just tough as nails. Such a great player, I thought. And then I had Steven Jackson, who I think could also make the Hall of Fame, certainly, but I don't think he will just because he did not achieve everything that he could have. Like a Super Bowl would have probably put him in there, but I think he just falls out of that category. But he was a size of a linebacker that was running the football about as fast as anybody you could find in the league. Like, he was incredible. Fullback, you didn't need to pick a fullback necessarily. It was an option, but I went with one because I love Mike Tolbert. Like, he just went into the 2-yard line every time and just scored touchdowns for the Chargers and for – like, he was a huge part of that Carolina team that went to the Super Bowl. I've always loved him. Wide receivers-wise, Marquise Colston, I think he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver, but he never made a Pro Bowl, which it's just that's a problem. That's Drew Brees' all-time wide receiver that was a 7th-round pick out of Hofstra as a tight end that should be in the Hall of Fame that never made a Pro Bowl. One of the most consistent third-down receivers. Michael Crabtree, because I loved him in college. I even loved him in the pros.
Thought he was a little too good for this list as well. I thought Tony, MJD, and Michael Crabtree were a little too good for this list.
You thought MJD was too good for this?
Way too good for this list.
I thought
Prime MJD, dude. Prime MJD was
Prime
special.
MJD was good, but the problem is he got hurt.
No, the problem was he was on Jacksonville. That was the problem.
That too, and even still, even when he was with Oakland, he finished it out strong. The other receivers I have is Doug Baldwin.
Way too good for this list. Way too good for this list.
I hear you, but I still think he is like an average player against the crop of wide receivers in the history of the NFL. Like I don't think he gets enough credit for what he did in Seattle. Like, you think of that Seattle team that wins the Super Bowl, you don't remember that he's the leading receiver. Which is the leading receiver was supposed to be the guy that was behind him, which is Sidney Rice, who just never he got hurt, unfortunately. But I thought he could have been a world beater, and that's one of those guys, like you say, in Madden, you pull that dude in Madden. He was a jump ball in Madden 12 every single time. He would win you ball games with Tavares Jackson as your quarterback in Minnesota. And that was paired with a man who will also be on my list on this too. Tight end wise, always loved me some Vernon Davis. Always loved him. That's another Madden guy I'll pull on there too. And to show some love to Chicago, it was always Greg Olsen as well. Mr. Consistent. Who could be a Hall of Famer. Could be. We'll find out maybe. Who knows. But offensive line wise, I'll run them down just because I don't know how many people are going to remember these names. And I know, Scotty, you said you didn't pick an offensive line.
I didn't pick offensive line. I didn't pick offensive line.
Marcus McNeil from the San Diego Chargers. Roger Saffold, who really was a star with the St. Louis Rams. Dominic Raiola, who we know is the father of the Raiola sons, who are now making their way to college. Mike Iupati, who was just a...
Way too good for this list. Way too good for this list.
You,
Mike Iupati.
You think so?
Yeah, Mike Iupati, yeah, way too good for this
I couldn't
list.
even remember his name. I just remember him being a massive run blocker and pass blocker with the Niners when they went to the Super Bowl that year.
Dude, when he was on Arizona, he was fantastic.
Oh, he was killing it. He was Pro Bowl-esque by far. And then I got to give love Ryan Diem because he went to my high school. And he bought our turf field, man. Like, what can I say? Like, I want to show him some love. And he was a consistently good offensive lineman. Got to give him some props. And as far as kicker goes, Sebastian Janikowski.
Way too good for this list. Bro kicked drunk. Bro was way better than this.
I mean, he's not the only one. There's plenty of guys that were probably drunk.
He was not average. Bro had a leg.
He was different than everyone else, and the only guy to be picked in the first round. It makes big guys, makes me feel good for being a big guy, of course, too. My kick returner is Percy Harvin as well. We didn't have to do kick and punt returners. We didn't have to do kickers and punters, but I did for the hell of it. Percy Harvin, underrated, one of the best athletes, I would say, in college football. One of the best returners in NFL history, I think, too, that does not get enough credit. Like, I don't think he was a very good wide receiver, but as a kick returner, by far and away, one of the best I've seen. Defensively, I'll run through this really quick, too. Elvis Dumerville, I think he could be a Hall of Famer. 5'11", but he is... That's the thing, is the sacks are there, the tackles are there, but it's just his overall success from Denver to Baltimore because he doesn't have the Super Bowl, and that's what hurts him. Like, that's the thing. He's got the, I think, acolytes, but he doesn't have the Super Bowl. Tommy Harris was the guy that kind of got me to play defensive tackle because I just thought he was incredible as a 3 technique. He was one of the best. Kyle Williams, he just did everything for Buffalo forever. He was always there. And again, he was one of those guys that when I got him in Madden, I was just like, that's my defensive tackle.
Great leader, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And his camps are awesome, too. I've been to one of his defensive lineman camps. Phenomenal stuff. And then Carlos Dunlap never gets enough credit for all the work he does as an edge rusher. Never does. Linebackers, Brian Arakpo, the sack machine. Absolute
way too good
wonderful.
For this list. Way too good for this list.
Brian
Arakpo, way too good for this list. Way too good for average NFL players.
For a 4-year period, he was one of the most feared defensive players in the league, no doubt.
Yo, Andrew's calling him average.
I'm just saying, in the scheme of the whole history of the NFL, DeQuell Jackson, I just liked him. He was just a good sideline linebacker. I liked him a lot. I know he's the definition of average, I would think.
That's probably one of your most... These next two are probably your most average of the entire list.
Yeah. John Beeson's my other linebacker I throw in there as well. He was a beast before Luke Kuechly, and I think he could have been a huge part of that team when they went to the Super Bowl too. But I get it. You got Luke Kuechly. You didn't need him. He went to the Giants, and he was still good with the Giants. But I thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer by far. Like I thought he was going to be the next Ray Lewis. I'll be honest. I thought he was going to be the next Ray Lewis. Then I've got Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie.
Way too good for this list.
I understand, but he never found a home. He just never found a place to be able to stick around. He got bumped around everywhere. And he was so good. Like, I didn't know where Tennessee Tech was at all until this guy hit the scene. And I was like, who's this skinny, scrawny dude? And then I was like, oh, he just intercepts every pass for Patrick Peterson. Oh, wow, that's crazy. That's insane that they were on the same side. Dre Bly, also on this one as well. Mr. Consistent, never Mr. Superstar, but was always there. And then I got Sauce Gardner on there.
That's just nuts that he put Sauce Gardner on there. Honestly, that's just absolutely nuts that he put Sauce Gardner on there.
I know.
Average players of all time, he put Sauce Gardner. That's just move on. Just move on. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, call me out for it. Then I've got for safeties Malcolm Jenkins as well. He was one of my favorite players on that New Orleans team that won the Super Bowl, and he was a great piece for that Philly team. Tyrann Mathieu, I think, could make the Hall of Fame for sure.
Hall of Famer. Yeah, he is a Hall of Famer. That's crazy.
Certainly, yeah. Which we were omitted to add Hall of Famers if we couldn't find a guy that we liked. But I think there's a good shot he doesn't make the Hall of Fame. I think they look at his credentials and go, no, you didn't do enough. You didn't get the Super Bowl, which I think is crazy. But he has been one of the best safeties for a decade almost. I would think it'd be nuts to not put him in there. But I could see where they argue against it. And then my punter is Brian Moorman because he's phenomenal. And I've never seen a punter have a better arm, especially at 39 years old. And then Darren Sproles is my punt returner because he could just do everything. So, yeah, That's my all-average team.
So you want to know how I also took this? You know that guy that goes around and he's like, "Can you name like the 13th player on the bench?" type
Yeah.
deal. That,
Yes.
I pulled up some players like that. Like
I
was
cannot.
I was
wait for
pulling
this.
up some like top, like they weren't even top 20 players in the NFL.
It's clearly I got the assignment wrong then, I guess. I don't know. I got the assignment wrong.
I'm pulling up players that were like not even top 20 players in their position in the NFL.
This is going to be very interesting to see.
Okay, here's my one. Everyone else after this, rough. Joe Flacco's my quarterback. Never was anything like special, talent-wise. He won the Super Bowl, but he was pure game manager and not even top 5 game manager in the NFL.
Yeah, it's fair.
Jay Ajayi, bro. Jay Ajayi gets the ball. He was gone.
That's a good one.
That's
a good
gone.
one. I like that.
Giovanni Bernard, great in fantasy football because he was a receiving back, and Dalton would check down to him all the time. He was always there. And then he just got pushed out. Purely average, Derek Watts, my fullback. He was literally only there because he was the last name. That's the only reason why he was there. Wide receiver, Brandon Marshall.
Okay.
Golden
borderline Hall of Fame.
No, he's not. He's nowhere close to
Yeah,
the
he
Hall of
is.
Fame. No way.
He is.
Golden Tate
Okay, he was almost on my list.
and Jordy Nelson.
Okay. I like that.
Tight end 1, Tyler Higbee. Bro was always in the fantasy football free agency, and then when you
my
picked
God.
him up, he put up like 2 points.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then
That's
I
very
put
fair.
Heath Miller.
Okay,
Heath
Miller's
Miller's
a
just
good one.
Steeler legend. Steeler
Yeah.
legend, and he embodied everything that Pittsburgh has to deal with. But as a tight end, garbage athleticism.
Yeah, he was never going to be a speed burner, but
No.
always could catch the football.
Yeah.
Always could catch that.
Kicker,
football.
I got Matt Gay. He's just consistent. That's all he is.
That's
He's
fair.
consistent.
That's fair.
He doesn't have a leg. He's just consistent.
Okay.
Defense.
Like that.
Defense. I got some good names in here. I got Chris Long on the edge.
Okay. Yeah.
And the defense as well, a lot of these guys were also like in the top categories. All these guys were like top categories for a lot of stats too. So
Yeah.
like they were just average players that were still putting up great numbers. But not good and nowhere close to the Hall of Fame. I got Akeem Hicks.
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
Carlos Dunlap.
See, we had somebody in common.
That's the one guy I got in common. I got Ryan Kerrigan. Solid,
Ooh, that's a good one.
solid leader,
Yeah.
great leader, and then just
Yeah.
great mind for the game too.
Yeah.
Another great leader got Sean Lee.
Okay. Yeah. Sean.
Sean Lee, one of the best linebackers the Cowboys have ever had in that long list, but
His body just held up.
But he's so far down on that list because there's so many others that are just so much better than him.
There.
I got Chad Greenway.
Okay. Oh God, I completely forgot about him. Yeah.
And then I got
Yep.
Carlos Dansby.
Ooh, he was almost on my list too. I almost put Dansby on my list too. Because he was just always consistent with the Cardinals and the Dolphins.
These three bounced around for corners. I got Casey Hayward.
Ooh, okay.
Loved
Okay.
everywhere he went. He locked down. It was great.
Yep.
He's like DRC, but a step lower.
Yeah. Fair.
Brent Grimes, so undersized, but could jump, so
Oh.
he stopped everything.
That's right. Yeah. Mr. 5'9", but he had like a 46-inch vertical.
Yup.
Whatever was crazy.
And then Bears legend Janoris Jenkins.
Shouting out your Florida roots, is it? Huh?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, fair.
Safety, I got Antoine Bethea.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Bro was
I
a-
always felt like
Bro
he
was
should
a
have been a Hall of
tackle
Fame
merchant.
safety.
Bro was a
Yes.
tackle merchant.
I always felt like he should be like a Hall of Famer. So much better.
And at safety, I got Daniel Sorensen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Purely average.
He is the definition of like an average safety. Sometimes gets an interception, sometimes bats the ball, sometimes gets a tackle. Yeah, it's definitely average for sure. Wow.
We took that. We took that so different. I have like maybe one or two Hall of Famers on that list.
I may have missed.
Oh. Messi missed the pen.
Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me.
Messi just missed the pen. For the all-time World Cup scoring record, he just missed the pen.
Good. Gives Ronaldo a chance.
Oh, that's funny.
You know what? I didn't understand the assignment then. Then I obviously have to do this again.
I got one more thing I kind of want to mention.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk being traded to Florida.
Yes.
Nuts news. I will say, this is just this quick statement. I hate what the NHL is coming to with this, with the trade clauses. Every team is putting trade clauses on everyone, and the problem is they're all picking the same 4 teams to go to, and they all just want to play with their friends.
Yeah.
And if you were doing
everybody wants to be buddies.
If you were doing it in like free agency, different story. Completely different story. But they're forcing trades like this. Why are we doing this? Every star player that's going to get traded is going to say they want to go to Minnesota, Vegas, Carolina, or Florida. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, did you see Dylan Larkin's list? Minnesota,
yeah, I saw
Florida,
that.
Or Vegas. That's it.
Oh, wow, the top teams. How interesting.
Shocker. The only team that's not a top team there is the guy who is the GM for USA Hockey. That's, like, come on. Right. Like, why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, although I will say, after Tkachuk got traded, I saw, like, immediately afterwards, somebody, I don't know, well, maybe not immediately afterwards, but, like, a few spots down on Twitter, as I was scrolling back up, I saw somebody who posted up, like, well, now that Tkachuk's been traded, could Jason Robertson be traded from the Stars to go to the Senators? And I was like, that was a little quick, wasn't it? Like, already we're just, like, in that planning session, like, for what, too, by the way? Like, are you giving up every pick? Like, what are you talking about? I agree, though. Like, this whole, like, oh, well, I want to make sure that I've got a trade clause in there. Okay, guy, not everybody can have a trade clause. Like, not everybody can go to the best teams. Like, you know who's not asking for it, it seems like? A man up in Edmonton right now who's like, I'm going to stick around and try and figure this out. You don't hear Connor McDavid trying to cry for another team.
Nope.
I mean, as far as I can tell, I don't think he has
public.
that. No, maybe behind the doors. I'm sure he's like, get me the hell out of here somewhere, anywhere, for God's sakes.
Also, Shams is turning into prime Shaq on the Celtics right now with this Giannis trade information. He's not saying anything.
I know. I've been trying to keep an update on it with Twitter, but nothing's coming through. And I'm just like, you're supposed to be the marquee guy filling us in. Nothing's happening. Nothing's moving. I find that hard to believe. Unbelievable. All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us here at X-Bomb Sports. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this one. This was a fun one. We're hoping to be able to do a lot more of these, like I said. I know today being a Monday was an odd one. Maybe we'll keep this up for Mondays. We'll see. We'll kind of feel this out. This Friday, we will not be able to go. Scotty's going to be on vacation. I'm going to probably be a little busy as well, too, so Friday just doesn't really work out in general. But if you guys want to catch us, we're usually going to be recording it Friday, and the shows will be uploaded Friday. This one will be coming to you today, so you're lucky. You get it on Monday. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, we're right down here. You guys can check us out. There's mine, there's Scotty's, or there's mine, there's Scotty. I don't know what side of the screen I'm ever on. I can't tell anymore. I'm up top and he's below me. That's how this works.
It's all below us.
Yeah, it's all down there. It's all down there. So go follow us on there on our social medias at Twitter. If you guys want to follow us anymore for the show, you can subscribe and like our show and give us some love, share it, and all that stuff at youtube.com/xbombsports. Follow us at Xbomb Sports on all the social media stuff. You know all the social media stuff at this point. And any more questions or comments, please keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen, at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We got more dumb stuff we can talk about, more interesting stuff we can do. We appreciate you guys for asking all the questions and comments. So thank you guys as much as always. We love you. We appreciate you. We will see you guys next week potentially for another fantastic show. See you guys then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.